Hi everyone, welcome to the part 3 of the video series on decimals. In the part 2 we discussed in a very detailed way about tenths, hundredths and briefly about thousandths. And to explain them we took help of this line segment. What we are going to do in this video is we will further discuss about tenths, hundredths and thousandths, but this time we are not going to use this line segment but something else, and that is these square blocks. These three square blocks are of same size, like their areas are same. Okay, this is an entire block, and then in this one this block has been divided into 10 equal parts, into 10 columns, and all the parts are of same size. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. This has been divided into 10 equal parts. Then again for this one what we have done here is each part has been further divided into 10 equal parts. Like if this is one part of out of this of the 10 parts, so this part has also been divided into 10 equal parts, and that's here. So if all these equal parts have been divided into 10 equal parts, this is what you will get. And it's actually, this block has been divided into 100 equal parts. If this was 10 equal parts, and if you divide each part into 10 equal parts, then you'll get 100 equal parts. Though they all are not looking very accurately, equal, but just assume that all these blocks are equal, and same here. Let's begin our discussion. So what we have done is we have taken this block, and we have put here and here, and separately these three different blocks. Now don't worry, I'm going to explain you what these separate sections mean. In this bag, just assume that this is bag 1. Okay, this is bag 1, and in this bag there are actually total number of 100 blocks. Okay, or say, just you can say that they are actually square, 100 square. So this is one square, and this entire bag or container, whatever you want to assume, is actually total 100 squares. Okay, so this was bag 1 or container 1, whatever. In this one, this block is actually only 10 blocks or squares. This bag 2 contains only 10 blocks or squares. So this container or bag 1 has these squares. Total number of squares are 100 squares. This bag 2 has total number of 10 squares. Okay, and these are just three separate blocks, same squares, but they're not in a container, they are separate three. Okay, now if I have to represent them in a form of number, that you have to tell how many total blocks or squares there are. So it's just a kind of revision of numeral system, that how we write a number. So assume that this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, and this is separate 1 unit. Okay, so this is actually a place of ones. Okay, this is place of ones, 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. Okay, since this container or bag has 10 equal squares, and these 10 squares, total number of squares are 10. So this is actually what representing tens, telling you that the bag has actually tens a combination of 10 squares of blocks. This bag is telling you that this bag is containing hundreds. That is a combination of hundreds squares. Okay, fine. Assume that this tens bag, that is this bag too, they are total, let's say you have 5 such bags. How many bags? You have 5. Total number of bags here are actually this bag 2. The count is what? The count is 5. If you have 5 such bags and each bag is actually representing tens, that is a combination of 10 squares, then how many total squares there will be? 5 tens. Each bag is representing tens, so total 5 tens. And for this one, assume that you have the count for this one is actually, let's say 7. Okay, you have 7 such bags. So if each bag is representing hundreds, that tells you that you have in each bag you have 100 squares. Then that means that the total number of this 7 bags will represent 7 hundreds. Okay, the squares in these 7 bags will be 7 hundreds. And this is ones. So how many ones you have? You have 3 ones. You have 3 ones. 1 1, second one, unit, or third one. So you have 3 ones. And if I have to write this in a form of number, what that will be? So this is 7 hundreds. This tells you that you have 7 bags, right? Hundreds means that in each bag you have 100 squares. This tells you that, plus this tells you what? You have 5 such bags of tens, and since it is tens, means that in each bag you have 10 squares. Okay, plus this 3 tells you what? This 3 tells you that you have 3 ones, and ones means what? One separate unit. So 3 times 1. Now if I have to write them in a form of number, this will be what? 700 plus 50 plus 3, and this will be 753. Okay, so this is the total number of squares from this 7 bag, from these 7 bags, from these 5 bags of tens, 7 bags of hundreds, 5 bags of tens, and these 3 separate units, or the ones. So this ones, tens, and hundreds are nothing else but actually the place value of that we use, in Indian numeral system or international numeral system. So the number represented here is 753. We'll use this one. Come here. Now what we have done is we have added a block, this particular block that was divided into 10 equal parts, that is here. Now if someone asks you that till now you are having 753 squares of blocks, whatever, now you have this again, but in this case, if you are given only this portion, you are given only this portion, this first part, now what number will be? So actually since this block or square has been divided into 10 equal parts, and we are talking about only this particular portion, this is nothing else, just it's similar to what we had discussed in line segment. This is nothing else but what fraction does this part represent out of 10 equal parts? 1 over 10. And that is actually what? Tenths. That is actually what? Tenths. Tenths means that you have divided a single unit, in this case a square is representing a single unit, into 10 equal parts, and each part will be tenths. Tenths means 1 over 10. Why 1 over 10? Because the fraction represented by this particular portion or part out of 10 equal parts will be 1 over 10. That's a simple concept of fraction. We have learned all these things. Okay. So what number now you have? You have actually 753 and 1/10. Why 1/10? Because only this portion, and each portion is actually tenths, means the total unit has been divided into 10 equal parts. 1/10. Okay, this 1/10 is actually what? 1 over 10, right? So this 1/10 is actually, this 1/10 is actually what? This 1 over 10. Therefore, the total count this time will be 753 plus 1 over 10. This can be written in the form of mixed fraction. If you remember, we have learned this thing into mixed fraction. This will be 753. It is a whole number and 1 over 10, right? The value of this 1 over 10, the value of this 1 over 10 is actually, if you divide 1 by 10, you'll get 0.1. How you will read this? 0.1. So this will become 753.1. Okay, what if this equal part and even in this part is also given to you? This part is also given to you. Okay, these two parts. Now, how many tenths do you have? You have now 2 tenths. So now the number will be 753 and 1/10, another 1/10. Tenths means 2 tenths. So this will be 2 tenths. And what 2 tenths represent? 2 tenths will be what? What fraction these two equal parts will be out of this 10 equal parts? This will be 2, since we are talking about 2 equal parts, out of 10. Basic fraction concept. So this will be what? 753 plus 2 over 10. This can again be written as 753 2 over 10 as a mixed fraction, and this 2 over 10 will be actually 0.2. If you divide 2 by 10, you will get 0.2. Therefore, this becomes 753.2. Now notice, when you took only one portion, you have 753.1. When you took two portions, you have 753.2 number, total number of squares if written in the form of number. So you go on and you reach, you take this part also, then your number will be what? 753.3. Then you take this fourth one, this will be 753.4, then 753.5 if you take this fifth one also. So assume that you have reached to, after doing all those things, you have reached to a point where now you have 753.9, because now you have taken these 9 equal portions. Now, if you take this final, all these final, if you take this final portion also, now don't you think that now you have this entire square of block? That is, now you are having an entire single unit. You have taken this portion, you have taken this portion, you have taken this portion, 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 and even this one. Now you have an entire unit like this, right? So as we had discussed in the case of line segment, even in this case, what will happen is this will now be a one unit, complete one unit when you take this 10th one also, and that one unit will enter in this group. Now you will be having four ones, three initially what was given to you, and now since taking each portion at a time, you have finally this whole unit, so it will reach here, and now you will be having four ones. Now you will be having four ones, three initially and one this time. So since now you are having four ones and now you don't have any tenths, it's gone. So this number will change to 754.0. Why 0? Now you have, since you have taken the entire unit or square or block, this will enter into this club of ones because now you have an entire unit. So now rather than having three ones, you have four ones, and now you are not left with any tenths. So this is actually 754.0. In fact, you can write any number. Let's say that if you have number 11, you can add as many zero as you want after decimal point. You can put as many zero as you want. Why? It's telling you that you have one at ones place and one at tens place, and you have zero at tenths, you have zero at hundredths, you have zero at thousandths, you have zero at 10,000ths, and so on. Doesn't matter how many zero you put after decimal point. The decimal representation only tells you that what value you have actually at the tenths, at the hundredths, and the thousandths place. Okay. Now since you have this 754.0 when this entire unit was given to you. Okay. Now what you have to do is we again take this one. Now will not take this one but this one. So now we are here. Just explained you here when this was divided into 10 equal parts. So in that case I explained you that how your value will change, your number will change if you go on taking each equal part at a time. Okay. But now you have this scenario. You have the initial at 753 that we had counted here, but this time you have this block that has been divided into 100 equal parts. Okay. If you are given only this portion, now since this block or square has been divided into 100 equal parts, therefore what factor this this part will represent out of this 100 equal parts? What fraction it will represent? So since it is one part or portion out of 100, this one out of 100, this is a normal concept of fraction, and this is the fraction represented by this one part, and that what is hundredths, and that what is hundredths means that you have taken a unit and then you have divided that unit into 100 equal part. And how you did that? You did that using, first you divided this unit into 10 equal parts, and then each part was divided into further into 10 equal parts, so total 100 equal parts. That was the way you did that. So this is what hundredths mean. So if this particular only one portion is given to you, then your number will be 753. This number will be 753 and 1/100ths. Why? Because only one portion is given to you, hundredths. This 1/100ths is what? This 1/100ths is 1/100. This is the fraction represented by each one portion. So your number will be 753 plus 1/100, and this will be 753. You can write it in the form of a mixed fraction, 1/100, and this 1/100 will be, if you divide 1 by 100, you will get 0.01. 0.01. Therefore this number will become 753.01. Okay, if you are given this portion also, this portion and this portion, two portions, now your number will be 753 and 2/100ths. This 2/100ths means that it's actually 2/100. It's 2/100. Okay, it's 2/100ths. So your number this time will be 753 plus 2/100, and the value of 2/100, the value of 2/100 will be 0.02. So this number will become 753.02. So you get next time this one, you get next time this one, you get next time this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So now this time, if you go in a similar fashion what we have done here, you will reach to a point where a number will become 753.09. Okay, now if you get this 10th one also, this from starting from 1, your number was this one, then your number became this one. When you reach at the 9th position, it became 753.09. and now when you take this 10th one also, this 10th portion, now think what will happen. Don't you think that now, since you have got these 10 equal parts, and this is nothing else but actually this entire portion, right? Because this one portion was divided into 10 equal parts, right? If you remember here, this was divided into 10 equal parts. Therefore, don't you think that it's actually representing 1/10 actually? This portion and this portion, right? You have divided into 10 equal parts. Now you have entire this portion. Therefore, it means that this count is actually 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's actually tenths. And another way to look this one is that the fraction represented by these 10 blocks will be what? 10/100. 10/100. And if you divide this one, you'll get actually 1/10. If you divide 10 by 100, you'll get 1/10. Okay, so this actually tenths. This is 1/10. Now you have entire 1/10. So your number will become what? Your number will become 753. Now you are having 1/10. It's similar to what we discussed here. It changed from 753.9 to 754.0 because when you took this entire 10 equal parts, now you're having entire unit. But in this case, when you took these 10 equal parts, now you have tenths, you have entire tenths. Now you have 1/10. So this is 1/10 and 0 hundredths. Now you don't have any hundredths, it's 0 now. But as soon as you take this another single portion, after this you take another single portion, now your number will become 753. You're having 1/10, that is this one, and 1/100ths. This portion, why this portion? Because each portion is actually what? 1 or 100. Each portion represents hundredths. So now you are having 1/10 and 1/100ths. Okay, then you went on, you took this one, 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 this one also, right, from here to here. Now don't you think that now you have 2/10? So your number now will become 753, 2/10 and 0 hundredths. Now you are having entire tenths, 2/10. Okay, so you go on doing like this, and you finally reach to a point where you have actually traced, you have actually covered this entire, this, assume that you have reached to a point where you have reached to till this point, like all these spaces, all these blocks have been occupied by you, was given to you, all this was given to you, this one given to you. Now you have reached at this point. Now you are actually having 753 point, how many tenths? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9 tenths. And how many hundredths? 9 hundredths. 100, second hundredths, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. Okay, it's similar to what we have discussed here. Now if you take this, the next last block also, now don't you think that it's similar condition to what we discussed here, that you are now having an entire unit? So if you take this portion, now you are having this entire unit. Now you're having entire unit. So this one also will jump here, this will jump here. Now again you'll be having 4 ones. Now since you are having entire unit, 1 unit, this will enter into this club of ones. Now you're having 4 ones and 0 tenths and 0 hundredths, no tenths and no hundredths left. So therefore your number will again become 754, 0 tenths and 0 hundredths. You're not left with any tenths or hundredths because now you're having an entire unit. So this is what I wanted to discuss about tenths and hundredths using the block. Okay, this is what tenths and hundredths means. Tenths means what? You simply divide one entire unit into 10 equal parts. Okay, that is why the name tenths. Each portion is tenths. Hundredths means what? The one, when you divided the block into 10 equal parts, each equal part was further divided into 10 equal parts. Therefore, you will get 100 blocks, equal portions, and each portion will represent hundredths. Hundredths, right? So this was about tenths and hundredths. Now, using this concept, now let's discuss about millimeter and centimeter. Same thing will be discussed here. How many millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter? So if you have 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter is equal to what? 1 centimeter. It means that if you assume that you have this 1 centimeter as this line, okay, this line segment is of 1 centimeter, magnified version of 1 centimeter. So what 10 millimeter means what? This line has been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do it in a better way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Assume that this 1 centimeter has been divided into 10 equal parts, and each part therefore will represent 1 millimeter, because 10 millimeter, this is also 1 millimeter. So each millimeter is what? A single section of 1 centimeter divided into 10 equal parts, right? That's what mean that 10 millimeter is equal to 1 centimeter. Now each part is actually tenths, right? Each part is tenths, because this has been divided into 10 equal parts. If someone says that write in number in terms of centimeter, if you have say 7 centimeter and 5 millimeter, if you have to write this thing into number and centimeter, you have to write into centimeter. So you have 7 centimeter, that's 7 centimeter, and plus 5 millimeter. Now 5 millimeter means what? 1 section, 2 section, 3 sections, 4 sections and 5 sections, right? So 5 millimeter is actually what? 5 tenths. If I have to remove it here, and 5 tenths, 5 tenths, and that's actually what? 5 over 10. Why 1 portion, 2 portion, 3 portion, 4 portion and 5 portion? What fraction will they represent? They will represent 5 over 10 centimeter, right? So this will be 7 centimeter plus 5 over 10 centimeter. You can simply think it of as 7 plus 5 over 10. Okay, so this can be written as 7, 5 in a form of mixed fraction, and this will be the value of 5 over 10 will be 0.5. So this will be 7.5 centimeter. Okay, centimeter and meter. In this case we use tenths. Now how many centimeter is equal to 1 meter? You will say that 100 centimeter is equal to 1 meter. It means that if you assume that this is a line that is 1 meter, and if you divide this 1 meter into 10 equal parts, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. This 1 meter has been divided into 10 equal parts, and then further if you zoom this one portion, any portion, like let's say that you zoom this portion. So if you zoom it, if each these equal portions are further divided into 10 equal parts, that is what hundredths means, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, right? Just similar to what we did in this case. Each 10 part was further divided into 10 equal parts. So now this is further divided into 10 equal parts. So 100 centimeter is equal to 1 millimeter, and if 100 centimeter is equal to 1 meter, if 1 meter is divided into 10 equal parts and each part is further divided into 10 equal parts, that means that each particular portion will be what? Hundredths. It will represent 1 over 100, and that's what the concept of hundredths come here. Okay, so if someone asks you that if you have, let's say that you have 5 meter and 20 centimeter, you have 5 meter and 20 centimeter, so you have to write this in in terms of meter. You have to write this in terms of meter. No problem. If this is 5 meter and 20 centimeter means what? If all these equal portions have been divided into 10 equal parts, right? If this has been divided into 10 equal parts, if this has been divided into 10 equal parts, if this has been divided into 10 equal parts, so entire total parts will be how much? 100. So 20 means what? 20 upon 100, right? Because each portion is representing actually what? 1 centimeter, and that's what hundredths, right? So this is 20 centimeter means what? You have 20 hundredths. You have actually 20 hundredths. You have 20 hundredths. That means 20 hundredths means what? 20 over 100. And if you solve this, you'll get 0.20. So this will be 5 meter and 20 hundredths. And 20 hundredths means what? 20 over 100, right? So this will be 5 plus 20 over 100. This can be written in the form of 5, 20 over 100 in a mixed fraction, and this will be equal to what? 5 and 0.20 meter. Next, and the last one, millimeter and meter. So you know that 1000 millimeter is equal to 1 meter, right? 1000 millimeter is equal to 1 meter. And in this case, now you have reached to thousandths. Here it was hundredths. This is thousandths. How thousandths? In this case, when we were discussing about 10 millimeter is equal to 1 centimeter, one line segment was divided into 10 equal parts. That's why tenths. In this case, 100 centimeter is equal to 1 millimeter means if this is 1 millimeter, if you divide this 1 millimeter into 10 equal parts, and then further each part has been divided into 10 parts so that it can make 100 parts, and that is what 100 centimeter is equal to 1 meter means, because each 100th, that is hundredths, will mean 1 centimeter. Therefore, this entire will make 100 centimeter. So that is what you were dealing with hundredths. Now, if you are dealing with thousands, it means that if this was divided into 10 parts, then again this equal part was further divided into 10 parts. Then what, for the thousands, it will mean that, and again each part will further be divided into 10 equal parts. You have to again divide into 10 equal parts. So if in this case, when it was divided in 10 parts, it was representing tenths. Then it was representing, when you divided each part further into 10 parts, it was representing hundredths. And now when you further divide even this 100ths portion into 10 equal parts, that will be what? Thousandths. Thousandths. Okay. Therefore, if you have 1000 millimeter is equal to 1 meter, and if someone asks you that what will be 5 meter and 875 millimeter, okay, so this means that you have 5 meter and 875 what? 875 thousandths, right? As we did here, we did 20 hundredths. In this case, you will have 875 thousandths, means 875 upon 1000. And this will be equal to 0.875. So this will be 5 meter and 0.875. Just remove this one. And this will be, sorry, I should have written it like this way. 5 plus 875 upon 1000. This means that 875,000, and this will be 5.875 meter. And what it tells you that when you have 5 meter and 875 millimeter, it means that you have 5 thousandths, you have 5 thousandths, you have 7 hundredths, and you have 8 tenths, and this is 5 ones, right? In the example of this one, you have 0 hundredths, 2 tenths, and 5 ones. In this case, you have millimeter and centimeter, you have 5 tenths and 7 ones. So what's important is that if you have, let's say, number 253.456, you'll read it as 253.456. The decimal point always comes between tenths and the ones. So this is ones, this is tenths, and the decimal point will always come in between ones and tenths. And the place value, I'm repeating again, we have discussed all these things. The place value, as for ones it is 1, the multiplication factor. For 5 it is 10, for 100 it is 10, for thousands, for ones it is 1, this is tens place, therefore the multiplication factor is 10. This is hundreds place, therefore multiplication factor is 100. This is tenths place, the multiplication factor is 1 over 10. This is hundredths place, means multiplication factor is 1 over 100. And this is thousandths place, therefore the multiplication factor is 1 over 1000. And therefore this number can be written as, this is 2, the multiplication factor is 100, so 100, plus this is 5, the multiplication factor is 10 because it is at tens place, this is 10, plus this is 3, it is at ones place, the multiplication factor for ones is 1, this is 1, plus this is 4, the multiplication factor of the tens place is what? 1 over 10, this is 1 over 10. This is 5, it is at hundredths place, so this will be 5 times 1 over 100, plus this is 6, 6 is at thousandths place, this will be 6 times 1 over 1000 in terms of their multiplication factor. Okay, then finally you can, when you will solve them, you'll get back this number only. If you solve it, you'll get back this number only.